These are sailors and fishermen who have spent their whole lives in this part of Galilee, on this lake, who spend most of their days on this sea, fishing. They know what they're doing. So you can imagine as the wind begins and the waves start to rise, you can imagine them trying to stay calm, telling themselves, you just follow your training, follow your experience. We know what to do in this kind of situation. Maybe even early on, they're surprised to see Jesus sleeping, but I imagine that they say, he's tired, and this is our job. And when we're through, when the storm is over and we're through, then we'll tell him what happened. We'll tell him what he missed, and he'll be impressed with us, so we'll let him sleep. But then as the wind gets stronger and the waves get taller, you can imagine this growing dread in them and the looks that they exchange as they realize that this is not the sort of storm they can handle. They realize this is the kind of storm that no one returns from. This is the kind of storm where afterward bits of ship wash up on the shore. You can imagine how they look at each other as they realize they are going down. The storm in the gospel is not just a storm that's scary or difficult. It's a destroyer. It's a killer. So what's in their minds as they realize this? That they're in a hopeless situation. Probably some of them are thinking of their families because they think they'll never see them again. Maybe a few of them have thoughts of regret. They could even be thinking, I wouldn't be out here if Jesus hadn't brought me here. Maybe this was a mistake. Some of them might be thinking of their failure because they want to serve Jesus. They might be starting to beat themselves up. Like, my job is to get us across the sea. I'm the fisherman. I'm the one who spends all day in a ship. And here we are, the teacher. The teacher is going to be lost at sea because of me. Certainly, there are a few who are just totally bewildered because in all the thrashing and the noise, they look and they say, how can Jesus be asleep? So when they finally wake him, I think it's an interesting question. What do they bring when they wake him? What's the motive here? What are they looking for? It could be that they go to him because they have faith in his power. Like they think he might be able to do something in the storm. But I actually don't know if that's true because they've seen him teach. Up to this point in the gospel, they've seen him cast out demons and they've seen him do many healings, but he hasn't revealed all of his glory yet. So maybe they're thinking, let's wake him because he can do something, or maybe not. I think it's an open question. But I think what is certain is when they wake him, there is anger because they believe he is indifferent. And so this is what bursts out. They say, teacher, do you not care that we are perishing? What was it like when Jesus opened his eyes and looked at them? It's striking to me the simplicity of the writing that comes after this. Like, it's just so straightforward. It says, Jesus woke up, rebuked the wind, and said to the sea, quiet, be still. It's like, it might as well be saying something like, Jesus woke up, poured a cup of coffee, and then blew on it because it was hot. Like, it's understated and effortless. And it's this little line that all of a sudden it's very clear, this one who was sleeping in the boat, this is the God from the first reading, from this reading from Job. This is the God that we heard about in the Psalm, who holds the deadly sea on a leash as its master. So after everything's quieted down, then Jesus turns to them again and asks, why are you terrified? Do you not yet have faith? How does he look at them then? What is on his face? When he says, do you not yet have faith, what does he mean by this? What is he talking about? It seems like it's not actually about their faith in his power, in his divine power over creation. Because they said, do you not care? It seems like what he's pointing to when he says, do you not yet have faith? He's talking about a lack of faith in his love. So maybe when he asks this, what he means is something like, do you really believe that I do not care? You don't believe that I love you? So for us, storms are inevitable, and some we can weather. We go through many hardships every day, every week. Most of the time, we can weather them. We rise to the challenge, we find a solution, we do difficult things, we endure, and then we're through the storm. But what about the storms that we cannot survive? The killers, the destroyers. because these also are part of every person's life. Addiction, trauma, despair, violence, abuse, the death of someone who we love, hatred, betrayal, abandonment, shame. Maybe the things on your list aren't on this list. And maybe you haven't faced a destroying storm yet. Maybe some of you are in one of these storms right now. Or maybe some of you has in the past faced this destroying storm and has sunk you. And you have been deep under the water and in the dark for a long time. Maybe you've already asked what the disciples asked, Lord, do you not care that I am perishing? And maybe you've even gone further and have believed the Lord does not care. The Lord is indifferent. But this is not the end. It's not over. The love of God for you and his crucifixion and death, and the power of God to save you by his resurrection is new today at Mass. It's new at every Mass, every day. So through Mass, just pay attention. How does Jesus look at you? What do you see on his face or in his eyes? I do believe that you love me, my God.